gray mare, she ain't what she used to be.
She doesn't need to be. Throw away the whippletree, the old gray mare. It's time now to let her free.
Why should I let her go?
Why should you let her go? She gets around too slow. The gray Ford tractor's fast flexibility spells sure economy. So take a tip from me, buy a Ford tractor, greet prosperity. Ford will save you. Go!
6 o'clock, and it's Duotherm News Time. This roundup of the latest happenings is offered with the compliments of the Ozark Motor and Supply Company, wholesale distributor, and your local Duotherm dealer. This fall and winter, you're going to be more concerned with fuel economy than ever before. If you want to save up to 25% on heating cost, then get a new Duotherm fuel oil heater. The Duotherm has the famous dual-chamber burner with complete flame control, efficient waste stopper, and is beautifully styled. Investigate the Duotherm oil heater tomorrow. See it at the showrooms of one of the following dealers. In Springfield, see Fred McMahon at 306 East Walnut. In Springdale, Arkansas, see Keeling Auto Supply Company. In Fayetteville, Arkansas, see Cy Carney Supply Company. And now, Jim Simmons with the news.
Thank you, Carl Zumar. Good evening, everyone. Nazi Germany boasts that Russia is collapsing under the sledgehammer blows of Adolf Hitler's greatest offensive. An official Berlin spokesman claims 1 million Russian troops are trapped and face annihilation west of Moscow. The spokesman declares Russia as a military power is finished. And Adolf Hitler is revealed to have issued a proclamation hailing the gigantic drive as the last great decisive battle this year. London concedes Russia is in grave danger, with the jaws of a vast pincers movement endangering crack units of the Red Army. The British say the threat is the gravest since Dunkirk and admit that neither British nor American aid can arrive in time, that everything depends on the Red Army. Moscow reports that Soviet armies are battling desperately and have halted the Nazi onrush south and west of the capital. But in the vast area between Smolensk and Moscow, all able-bodied citizens are being called out to fight. The Russian press terms the battle a life-or-death struggle with the enemy. The Soviet Army newspaper Red Star warns that the outcome of the war may be decided in the next months or weeks. Berlin spokesmen claim Russia has thrown everything she has into a desperate and futile attempt to halt Nazi panzer columns. The German press chief, Dr. Otto Dietrich, declares, there is no doubt that the whole Russian front is smashed and that the last Russian army groups are being wiped out. Dietrich went to great lengths to convince foreign correspondents that he was giving them an authentic picture. He told them he had never misled them in previous campaigns and added, I pledge my good name for the genuineness of this information. But the Nazi high command indicated that the battle is far from finished, although turning in Germany's favor. The German communique tells of a vast battle of encirclement still in progress as German forces try to shatter trapped Russian units. The Russians say Hitler is suffering tremendous losses, and Moscow claims that the Red Air Fleet has gained air supremacy, slashing at German columns. Incidentally, the Berlin spokesman, who was so eager to impress the correspondents with his veracity, offered this remarkable comparison of German losses. He said the casualties in the Russian campaign run only about 5% of the World War total. That would be around 350,000 men. But last week, the High Command itself admitted that the Nazis have lost more than 400,000 men in the Eastern campaign. Turkey has signed a new trade pact with Nazi Germany, but it falls far short of Hitler's demands. Authoritative circles say Turkey has agreed to deliver only 90,000 tons of chrome, and then not until 1943. Germany first must provide the Turks with about $15 million of armaments and must make further arms shipments before the full chrome order is delivered. In addition to the chrome, Hitler has been promised an even larger amount of copper. Neither chrome nor copper is mentioned in the official announcement of the trade pact. A more complete story of the undercover war in the Balkans now is coming out. Rome reveals that Italy suffered nearly 4,000 casualties last month in the Balkans and in Africa. The Italians don't specify how many were lost in the Balkans, but the previous month 1,500 were killed or wounded. Simultaneously, Yugoslav officials in exile charged that the Axis has killed or imprisoned 180,000 Serbs and Jews. Berlin tells of more Czech executions today, but claims conditions have improved to the curfew may be lifted tentatively. 12 Czechs are said to have been executed during the day, and 9 more sentenced to death. 14 were shot yesterday. Vichy reports that 52 Serbs have been put to death in guerrilla warfare west of Belgrade. Turkish sources tell of guerrilla activity in Albania, where rebel forces are said to be raiding towns. How would you like to save up to 25% in wintertime heating costs? If you're interested in greater economy in heating your home, then see the amazing new dual-therm fuel oil heater. This heater will flood your house with warm, clean, odorless heat and low-cost heat at that. The dual-therm fuel oil heater is ideal for heating from 1 to 6 rooms and is of modern styling. They have a dual-tone finish that blends with your furniture. Now's the time to buy at lowest prices. Your local dealer will be glad to point out to you the advantages of the dual-therm oil heater and to explain the features that help this amazing heater save you up to 25% in wintertime heating costs. Many models are equipped with power air, which means that in summertime your dual-therm heater will send cooling breezes through your house to greatly lower room temperatures. Among dealers offering dual-therm fuel oil heaters are the Cassville Maytag Company, Cassville, Missouri, Collison McKinney Company, Bentonville, Arkansas, Blankenship and Magalia, Furniture Company, Monette, Missouri, Berryville Farmers Exchange in Berryville, Arkansas. A bloodless revolution has overrun the pro-Nazi president of Panama, who blocked efforts to arm American-owned vessels flying the Panamanian flag. The ousted president, Arnolfo Arias, fled to Cuba under an assumed name. Democratic elements have seized control and have sworn in the former Minister of Government, Ricardo Adolfo de la Guardia, as president. He took over after the second vice president, Ernesto Jean Guardia, led the new government for a few hours. The electrifying coup d'etat developed amid rumors that 2 important German diplomats were on their way to Panama. One is said to have arrived by plane yesterday, but his whereabouts are not known. The other is reported to have changed his plans to fly to Panama City at the last minute. In Washington, Secretary of State Hull says America is following events in Panama with intense concern. Panama flanks both sides of the canal zone, and 104 American-owned ships, many of which carry supplies to the Allies, are registered under the Panamanian flag. The sudden overthrow of the Arias regime developed at mid-morning, although Arias fled Tuesday afternoon. The bloodless rebellion was led by de la Guardia. It was carried out with a minimum of friction. Telephone service and public utilities continued to function without interruption. Only the radio station shut down, and police placed a heavy guard around the government buildings. It's understood that several officials in the Arias administration have been placed under arrest. Among them are said to be the ousted president's private secretary, the mayor of Panama City, and 1 cabinet member, the secretary of the presidency. The first inkling that something was up came last night when rumors circulated that all American Army and Navy men had been ordered back to their posts in the neighboring canal zone. Lieutenant Colonel Carter now denies that such orders were issued, but no American troops were sent in Panama City during the day. The ousted Panamanian president had been in office barely a year and at times had voiced strong dislike for the United States. Last spring, however, his attitude softened and he agreed to the construction of American airfields at Panama territory. But on Monday, he led his government to decree that no ship flying the Panamanian flag might be armed against U-boat attack. The president asked, and the president is getting swift action on legislation to arm United States merchant ships. And that is not all the president wants. In a special message today to Congress, he stressed the urgency of permitting American vessels to enter belligerent zones. But that, the president indicated, won't be vital until American production hits its peak. However, the arming of American merchant ships, said the president, is a matter of immediate and extreme urgency for the safety of American crews and the almost priceless goods. Within seconds after the clerks finished reading the message, the chairman of the House and Senate Foreign Affairs Committee introduced resolution to permit arming the merchant marine. The House Foreign Relations Committee will hold hearings on the bill earlier this week. Administration leaders hope it will clear before next Saturday. In his special message, the president pulled no punches. He said, and we quote, "Hitler has offered us a challenge which we as Americans cannot and will not tolerate. We Americans are determined on our course. We intend to maintain the security and integrity and honor of our country." And again we quote, "I say to you solemnly that if Hitler's present military plans are brought to successful fulfillment, we Americans will be forced to fight in defense of our homes and our freedom in a war as costly and as devastating as that which now rages on the Russian front." Secretary of State Hull told his press conference today that he considers it important and urgent that the neutrality law changes be rushed into law. Tonight brings last chances to see Tyrone Power and Betty Grable in A Yank in the RAF at the Godoy's Theater. The added feature on this program is Lloyd Nolan, Mary Beth Hughes, and Sheeta Ryan in the Michael Shane detective story Dressed to Kill. Starting tomorrow, the Godoys brings Ginger Rogers in her first picture since Kitty Foyle, the role that won for her the Academy Award. Ginger's new hit is titled Tom, Dick, and Harry, and in the cast are George Murphy, Alan Marshall, and Burgess Meredith. The added feature is the streamlined training camp story, Tanks a Million, a comedy hit. Tonight through tomorrow at the Electric Theater is Charles Ruggles, Ellen Drew, and Philip Terry in The Parson of Panamint, along with James Stevenson and Geraldine Fitzgerald in Shining Victory, the strange and compelling story by A.J. Cronin. An automobile truck collision at the corner of Glenstone and Grand shortly before 6 o'clock tonight resulted in injuries for 3 young people. 2 of the injured have been identified as Miss Jessidy Harness, who only last Saturday moved to Fairgrove, and Louis Napier, 18 years old, of 1940 Roosevelt. One of the young women hurt in the crash has not been identified, but her injuries are said to not be serious. The car in which the 3 young people were riding collided with a Kroger transport truck at the intersection. The truck driver was uninjured, but the others were taken to St. John's Hospital, where they are undergoing an examination. The October term of federal court in Springfield is drawing to a close. A session probably will be held tomorrow morning for sentencing some of the prisoners who have been convicted this week. The final session of court this afternoon was devoted to hearing some war risk litigation cases and liquor law violation trials. Early this afternoon, John Castile and his son James, who live in Webster County, were convicted of transporting unlicensed liquor. They will be sentenced by Judge Albert L. Reeves tomorrow morning. In another case earlier today, Everett Perry was given a 2-year reformatory sentence for impersonating a federal army officer. It was charged he impersonated an officer to obtain money under false pretenses. Another beginner's class in the Springfield Boy Scout Band will be organized next Monday night, Director James Robertson has announced. It will be the 22nd new class of beginning students started by musical careers by Mr. Robertson or his late father, R. Ritchie Robertson. Boys expecting to join the band must provide their own instruments, but they need not bring them to the organization meeting Monday night. The first session is scheduled for 7 o'clock in the band room at the courthouse. State Teachers College football fans tomorrow night will hear a play-by-play account of the game to be played at Maryville. The STC Maryville game will be broadcast by remote wire direct from the North Missouri playing field. Sports announcer Lee George will be at the microphone. The modern styling, new gracefully rounded contours, and striking duotone of the Duotherm fuel oil heater makes it the most handsome heater ever designed, an addition to your home that has none of the unsightly ugliness of the old-fashioned stove. Moreover, the Duotherm fuel oil heater gives even, clean, and automatic warmth that is no bother at all to heat your house all winter, and you save up to 25% in heating cost. Visit your local Duotherm dealer and see these heaters which burn cheap fuel. Duotherm dealers in this area include J.O. Farmer & Son, Willard, Missouri, Dunlap Oil Company, Carthage, Missouri, Farmers Exchange in Crane, Missouri. Now for last-minute bulletins. Chongqing. An official spokesman reports that Chinese forces have recaptured one half of Ishang in Hubei province. They are said to be engaged now in fierce street fighting for the rest of the town. London. Britain's parliament leans to the belief that Russian setbacks indirectly have shorn Prime Minister Churchill's government of its invulnerability. Leaders say it may bring about an eventual cabinet shakeup. That's all for now. Good evening.
The old gray mare, she ain't what she used to be.
She doesn't need to be. Throw away the whippletree, the old gray mare. It's time now to set her free.
Why should I let her go?
Why should you let her go? She gets around too slow. The great Ford tractor's fast flexibility spells sure economy. So take a tip from me. Buy a Ford tractor, great prosperity. Ford.